This is an Ellis Mowers and More small engine repair. Stay connected on Instagram and Facebook at Ellis Mowers and More. Comments or questions? Leave them below or email me, ellis@ellismowers.com. Parts used in today's repair are found using the links in the description below. And as always, like and subscribe for more small engine content. On today's repair, we are going to look at this Craftsman LT3000. If you've been following the channel, you saw that I did recently an LT2000. I have yet another one of them to do as well. It's going to be a Briggs & Stratton, but I got to put the engine on and do a decent amount of work to that. The LT3000 here already has an engine on it, although I needed to find some parts and pieces to put onto it. It's already on there, attached. It has compression from what I can tell. Whenever I'm spinning it over by hand, I need to put a starter on it, engine cover on it, and a few other items to make it a seat to make it good again. So I'll take you on a tour around this LT3000. Show you a little bit of the differences between that and an LT2000 while we're at it, and then we'll see if we can get everything back going again. Y'all know these Craftsmans, these LT Craftsmans, it don't take much. Usually I can knock these out in a day, day and a half, and send them on, and usually I don't see them again after that, which is a good thing. So let's go ahead and give it a look and show you what I need to do, and we'll go ahead and get rolling with this. Around this LT3000. I got this, I think I got like a couple mowers for 80 bucks or something like that. I think one of them was that MTD hauler that I got and fixed and sold for 200. So I think I'm already in the good on this machine, and I think, don't quote me, I think I can get everything fixed with everything that I have around here at this point, which is great. LT3000, I think these were made in 2006, if I were to remember. So this was made in fourth month of 2006. So this is kind of a crossover year for Craftsman mowers. They started making the YS series in 2006 as well, that I don't think are quite as nice as these, a little bit more cumbersome. These are really good. Here's your model number, 917-276-813, serial 041306, means that it was made April 13th of 2006. So pretty good. I had one of these a couple of years ago that I bought running and driving, I believe, but the deck was just rotted out completely, and I got it for $100, threw a deck on it, and sold it for like $6, because that was a super nice unit. This one here needs a decent amount of work. As you can see underneath here, I have no starter on the engine, but when you turn the engine over by hand, I mean, it sounds like I've got compression. Then I can hear a little bit of clinking and clanking too, so I don't know. Either way, I've got, oh, that's probably the belt underneath or something along those lines. But we'll get everything a look. Again, I got to throw a starter on it to see if I can, which I've got right there, see if I can get it started. I do have an engine cover. I don't have like a 20 horsepower engine cover, and so I just found this generic red and white engine cover here that will work just fine. This mower is not going to be the prettiest thing in the world when I'm finished with it anyways, but it will be a good functional mower. It's got the 6-speed in it. Got to fix the brakes on it. Got to find a seat for it. I got plenty of these seats, so that ain't a big deal. Discharge chute, I can get away with cutting it off right here and being okay, so that ain't a big deal. Blades, they're borderline. And what else? I'm thinking, I don't think anything else is missing. Oh, we need to put a blade engage cable on it. We probably got to do the whole thing with the guides and everything to free them up as well. Don't have a deck, I do have a deck belt on it, but it is all chewed up, so like completely chewed up. And then the drive belt, let me see if I can feel the drive belt while we're under here. Drive belt feels okay. We'll inspect it when we have the deck off. Looks like this thing was leaking oil at some point, so I'm hoping it didn't run itself out of oil. It did have some in it when I looked. Yeah, see, so it's relatively full. Probably up on the stick a little bit because I turned it over a little bit. That oil filter looks original. And we don't have a carb or any sort of like linkages or anything, but I've got a million of them, so that ain't a big deal. So what I'm going to do, find a couple of starter bolts, slap those in right there, put the starter on. I already have confirmed that I have power to the solenoid when I turn the key, and so that in theory should mean that I have power going to the starter. We'll spray a little bit of carb spray in, and we'll see if this thing will run. Alright guys, new starter is on. Again, just a couple of bolts, which I found in my stash, and then a starter nut. All the grounds and everything are hooked up. This white wire, I don't know what that's for. I don't think it really serves any purpose on this harness. It could be for like a different, like if somebody had a different engine on it or something. Like if it had a Kohler or, I don't know. It doesn't serve any purpose to my knowledge. I'm going to hook the jump pack up and then see if it'll crank over. If it cranks over, I'll get a shot of the carb spray to see if I can get it to fire. Let's see. Uh-oh. Ooh. Shoot. Bad valve adjustment. That's for sure. If it was a compression release, it wouldn't continue to turn over like that. So let's just want to see if it'll kick over and fire for me. As long as it does that. Okay. She's a little cumbersome. I don't know if it's trying to turn the blades on or something. Because it is rocking. Oh, it's the transmission belt, I think. Or something. It's not doing something. It don't like something, I know that. Man, I don't know if I've ever seen one vibrate that bad though. It's on a riding mower. Shoot. Well, man. There's no way in the world it has a bent crankshaft in it. It could just be, I don't think it's just valves, but. what I gotta do though is raise this thing up, because it definitely needs a valve adjustment. So what I gotta do, I'll raise it up so that the oil doesn't come pooling out of it, and then pull them 3 or 4 valve cover bolts and check the valve clearance. I suspect that it's really out of whack. All right, we're looking in on the valves, and I'll tell you what, it's a wonder that it even started, right? Crazy. All right, just gonna make sure that I just lower it at this point because there's no oil coming out of it. I mean, good night. This thing actually tried to start with the valve at like I couldn't even feel out on a feeler gauge how far that thing is. So glad I didn't try to. That would explain why it was, well, hopefully explain why it was trying to vibrate on me as well. That's loose on it, so we'll need to tighten that up. I don't know why that started working its way out. Okay. What is that going to be, like a 10 millimeter back there? We'll just snug it up right there. Okay, you don't want to go too tight because you don't want to break off the stud or anything like that. So either way though, let's see what we've got here. Oh, that's the governor arm clicking around right there. Okay, so now we've got the valve back in, kind of, but now it's too tight. So, hooray. All right, so we're in there, and then, let's see. So we'll loosen this, and then take a 5/8 and kind of pull it back out a little bit. Because it's definitely too far out right now, so, or too far in after I did that. That's crazy. Okay, so trial and error, trial and error. Should get us in the ballpark. We'll start at a starting point here, and then we'll get a little bit further on. That's actually almost spot on. I try and do 5/1000ths. Just need to go in a little bit more. Do 5/1000ths for both and you're fine. Check it at 3 to see if it's still got, yeah, we're good. And then we'll do the exhaust at the top here. That exhaust valve is out pretty bad, so let's see. I go in a little bit further. May have gone too far. Yep. I mean, it don't take much to fine tune these things, that's for sure. Let's see. Alright, gotta go in like not even like a 1/16 of a turn right there. I mean, it's literally like right on the edge right there. There we go. I think that's about where we need to be. So valves good. I'll double check. Oh, to make sure that this top one is good as well. Yeah, we're good. So awesome. All right, I'll get the valve cover back on. Turn it over now, and we'll see if it's not trying to shake all over the place now. It's just kind of a weird thing because there's nothing really underneath it that's causing it to do that now. I'm hoping that it was just the valves being way out. So at the very least, this should turn over a lot easier now. And hopefully it's not gonna vibrate too, although I don't know what's causing it to do that. Just weird. Let me see if holding this open does anything. Shoot, I don't know. I don't know if that governor's adjusted right. It was on the choke setting. One more. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about this. What I could do, throw a carb on it, see how it runs. After I get it all set up. So I'm going to find carb linkages and all that stuff. See what I can do with this thing. Yeah, not optimistic about it though, because you see how much it vibrates when it tries to start. I'll get you a little bit closer so that you can see. Maybe the camera will show it, but man. So like I said, I'm not fully sure. At this point, because it's so easy to do, I would like to throw a carburetor on it just to see how it actually does run after it gets up in the RPMs a little bit. It's possible that the counterbalance has gone bad on this thing and shaking itself to death. If so, we have engine options. Yeah, we actually have quite a few engine options. Got a 14 horsepower just sitting there on the bench ready and waiting for a home. And that's where this one will go, or that's where that one will go if this one's not good. So I put a battery in it. I found an intake tube and a carburetor. I don't have the gas hooked up yet, but I want to see if it acts any differently now whenever I try and start it. I doubt it, but we'll see. Alright, I hear the solenoid clicking in the fuel, which is good. Doesn't sound like it's got any RPMs, which is interesting. Interesting. Well, what I'll do, I'll put gas tank and line down there and see if we can at least get it to kick off and run for more than just a couple of seconds on starting fluid. If we can do that, then maybe we can troubleshoot a little bit more here. It is kind of weird the way that it is operating. So what concerns me a little bit also is, you see that blue stuff? That means somebody's been in this thing. And I'm wondering if somebody just didn't put it back together right. Because other things that I've noticed is the little ring right here for the governor arm actually was missing the little plastic piece in it. So the little linkage would be going around like crazy. I actually put a pop rivet in there and drilled a hole through it, and that seems to have fixed the issue for that. So I'm just thinking somebody who didn't know what they were doing was trying to work on this thing. Let me see what I can do with like a gas tank setup, which I have a gas tank. I just need to put a fuel line on it, put a fuel shutoff switch and fuel filter, and then we will see what we can do here in a few minutes. And I don't know why that didn't want to focus up, but there you go. We'll see you in a few minutes. All right, guys, fuel line, fuel tank installed. Really interested to see if it'll run on its own now. Like I said, I don't really have high hopes for this engine based on what I'm seeing. However, you never know, right? So let me see. All right. Unfortunately, this carb is bad, so I'm going to get that another carb on it. I just wanted to see, just to see if it would, but I don't think it's going to. Oh well, new carb time. So, good news is it doesn't take much to do this. So, I think this this linkage here is not quite right. It's also like zero tension on the governor too, so that's why I'm kind of like, ugh. But I'll get this carb off. Throw it away. It's been in my stash for a while, so I've had a feeling it was bad, but it don't take 2 minutes to try. So I wanted to try it. Real easy to take off. Just like that. So, get the choke arm out of here. And that. And then I'm just going to put the new one on and chuck this one in the trash. And see if we can get it to at least run for a little bit longer than a couple of seconds. Alright, we'll try this again here. New carburetor on. Again, there's just those two 8mm because I don't have any of the covers and stuff on yet. So, let's see. Any better? It won't even kick off now. Won't even kick off. Oh man. Is the spark plug in? Yes. Ignition coil. Oh my. Alright. Speed up. Yeah, there's something going on with this thing. I'll check the spark plug. I mean, I haven't even done that yet. So. See, it's getting plenty of fuel, so sure, I'll check the spark plug. Probably should have done that first, but like I said, I know it's not running right, so but it's not even picking up like it wants to pick up any RPMs. It's just kind of odd. Let's see. The new plug, so I mean, really good spark, so I wonder if I got like a burnt valve or something. It's just really weird. pop that on. I think we're getting. I'm running out of battery. Man. Something's not right internally on this thing. Unfortunately. And I hate to have to do it, but I think I'm gonna have to put a new, put another engine on it for right now, because I will have to go into this to see what's going on with it. I'm gonna see if I can jump it off here. Because it's just like, it wants to. Like I said, I just don't know. I can look at the camshaft again. See if there's anything going on there. Because I've got the valves right. I know I have the valves right. So we'll just double check. I just double check myself. But at least I had them right. I don't know if they've backed themselves out or if I have a bent rod or something. I mean, oh, they're acting fine. Also makes you wonder if somebody pulled this motor and didn't time it right again or something, or had it like a tooth off. Gosh, I hate it. Let me figure out what my next steps are going to be. Like I said, I'll show you what I got over here, and we could just get this thing going and build this 20 horse to put on a different machine. I got this 14.5 that's literally just sitting here ready to go, and put a governor in it and a couple other things, and seems to work okay. So either way, that motor's got to come off, right? So what I'll do is I'll get this engine off, pull the deck. I didn't want to have to get into all this today, but it looks like I am. Let's see, pull the deck, pull the engine, and all that good stuff. So I think what I'll do, I'll put y'all on time lapse, let y'all watch me do all this fun stuff, and we'll probably break into this thing and see what's going on underneath, because I mean, there's got to be something going on underneath with what it's doing. Alright, y'all, something ain't right about this, so check this out whenever I do this. Something is massively rattling in there and doesn't sound good. So, man. The good news is I have an engine ready to go. I am going to put this one on the bench. We're going to look and see what happened to this one, because I would love to know. I've got other blocks and stuff back there. I'm probably not going to build an engine for this since I've already got one sitting on the bench ready to go. But just for kicks, while we're here, we might as well give it a look just so that the mystery is solved, so to speak. While I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and get that other engine and pop it on here, get it out of the way so that I can get this one onto the bench, and we can unscrew everything and just see exactly what went wrong on this thing. Alright guys, let me see if this light is better. Not really. I've got all the bolts off, I think. So let's pull this thing. Just pop it off. See what the carnage is. I'm sure it's going to be something. Ooh. Sheared governor. This is going on. I knew that there's something wrong with the governor. Alright, let's look together here. Alright, like I said, governor's gone. What else have we got that's all chewed up in here? Gosh, can I even get this thing off? Is the compression release going on this thing? Yes, actually. But this, I mean, that's not good. The counterbalance is basically falling off of this thing. So actually, the camshaft and compression release is good. That's kind of crazy. So that, and then, so like I said, the counterbalance is just, yeah, so, okay. Let me see if I can get in here to show y'all. We will not be fixing this. Got a good camshaft out of it though. So that's oil pump, and you're going to see right in the middle of your screen there's a piece of what looks like the counterbalance for the camshaft, or for the actually this upper arm right here. Somebody, wow, I'm gonna find this hard to believe if this is the case. Put this engine back together. I'm just trying to, before I make any like assumptions here. It appears that somebody put this engine back together and forgot to put the pin in for the counterbalance for the, well, or it broke, one of the two. I can't get it out fully without pulling that top arm off. So I've got, well, it almost looks like the pin fell out, honestly. Or the back of the counterbalance broke, because the pin is right there. I can see it. Or at least one of them is. But, I mean, I guess we still have a good piston and crankshaft and stuff, so worst comes worst, we get one that's blown up that comes in and we can swap all this around. I don't really get into doing full-on swaps like this, but let's see if I can get it out here now. All right, there we are. Okay, so yeah, that counterbalance arm just broke for some reason. A little bit off camera-wise, aren't I? All right, and we'll show you inside here now as well what I was talking about. So there's some pieces missing from that. The block is good, which is good. And there's our oil pump that fell down in there, and then I guess that's the other counterbalance arm pin that fell off, probably because it was vibrating so bad. But yeah, not good, y'all. Not good at all. So that's what happened with this, and you can kind of see a bunch of just water and sludge that had kind of gotten built up in there too. See if I can get it out. So there's that other counterbalance pin. Whew! Alright, well, that's unfortunate. Don't know if it is a result of work that was done inside of the engine or if it just failed like that. Maybe from low oil, because it did have an oil leak at the seal. Although somebody's been in here before. Who knows? Who honestly knows? Well, after a while I had to just put the camera down and figure out what I was going to do, because I was starting to get a little frustrated. Here's what I have done. So I have a bunch of engine blocks and stuff out. I don't have an oil seal for my 14.5, and so got to order one for that. This engine is the one that came, well, that was just sitting on that tractor over there, and that's what I ended up putting on this. Not my first choice, my second choice, or my third choice. My second choice was trying to get one that I had in the shed going. However, it's got a tight spot or something in it, because I put a new compression release in it, and long story short, it's still like getting hung up as it's turning. That's not the first one of these engines that I've had issues with that happening, I don't think. So, because you can feel it too. I may pop it on that Craftsman over there with a couple of mounting bolts and put the flywheel back on it just to see, just to make sure it wasn't a weak battery that was causing it. But like I said, it's a really, really tight spot in it. And this block I know is good, because it would run fine, but it was shearing flywheel keys, and that's mostly because I didn't have the right flywheel key in it, I think. So I think I'm eventually going to build this engine back, because everything is good on it. I just need to put the head, and all the internals are good on it. I just need to put the head and the flywheel and all that good stuff on it. So that may come for that mower. I'm not fully sure yet. But after all is said and done here, I've put this engine on, and this battery is trash. I tried to save it, but it's not gonna hold a charge, I don't think, unfortunately. So I think we got the boost going here. Oil's even fairly clean on it too, so happy about that. So I need to pop a battery in it. I'm going to pop the double stack pulley on it, put some air in this tire, and get all of this junk cleaned out of the way, and see if I can at least drive this thing around, and that'll make me feel a little bit better here at the end of the day today, because this has been honestly an all-day affair. I was hoping to have this thing running and driving by noon, and it's 4 o'clock now, so we got to get back going on it. Another thing I just want to show you on the deck, they put a new spindle on it. They didn't put it in the right orientation, so the alignment is off from here to here. This is why this belt got thrown. So missing a spring as well, so I need to find a spring for it and fix the pulley height. And I think we'll be good after that, as long as it's the same on the bottom. That flywheel, of course, I took off of that machine, and it lost a couple of magnets, so I'll have to JB weld those back on. It's just been a process today, y'all, and I am looking forward to seeing this thing drive here, hopefully in just a couple of minutes. Well, I got a lot of cleanup to do, but I want to end the day by seeing if this thing will drive and run and drive, obviously. So let's try it. Those gears are a little stiff. Oh, I think the tires are kind of down on the back too, but not too bad. They're not like flat. I think we're about to run out of gas. Driving though, woohoo! Reverse, yep. Yeah, run out of gas. That's all right. That is okay. Let me throw some gas in. I do just want to make sure that, man, it's just those gears are so stiff. I'll get those. I'll throw some WD-40 and stuff on a lot of the linkages and stuff, hopefully, to get that stuff freed up. Yeah, we're running and driving. I don't think we got enough. No, we don't have enough to restart with that battery, so I'm going to swap the battery. I'm going to put some gas in it and WD-40 everything. See if everything's a little bit better when it comes to it. Also, this engine cover fit just fine on it. It's not the most beautiful thing in the world by any means, but it'll work just fine, and it's the best thing I have to kind of match the machine. And I could, still sell it as a 20 horsepower, so to speak. It really doesn't make that much of a difference. I think this is more like a 17.5 because it doesn't have an oil filter on it. Although the other one had it's had a 19.5 shroud on it, although it had the old flywheel set up, so it was a mishmash anyways. But it works, and I'm happy that it does. I'm gonna swap the battery, do a couple other things, call it a day here. It's really hard to turn over. Kind of like it hits a dead spot. It's not the compression release because it will eventually continue to turn over, but valves are out of adjustment. So I am going to grab a 10 millimeter wrench. I believe it's a T20. And we're going to just go to town on the valves. So got a feeler gauge. I've already felt that it's out of balance, not out of balance, but out when it comes to, or out of spec, that's the right word. So we'll loosen that, tighten it down a little bit, and again, it's a trial and error aspect. We want to be 5 thousandths or so is where I start when it comes to figuring out where I want to be. That's relatively close right there. We got to go in a little bit more though. So this one was way out of spec. This happens over time. So this is the intake valve as well. That's actually about where I need to be. Had a pretty decent amount of drag right there, so I'm going to take the .03 feeler. And we have a good amount of, or a little bit of drag there, so we're within .03 and .05 on that. We'll rotate the engine a little bit. I don't know why it's making that noise. Must be something underneath the machine there. Yeah. Oh, it's that bracket that's moving around a little bit. So that's the intake. Let's get the exhaust to where it's not. There we go. Alright, so I feel like it's just been something with everything on this machine. Obviously way out. And then so we'll open this up, tighten it some. Let me see. I felt it start to push the valve in, so I came back a little bit. Yeah, it might be a tinge tight still there. No, we're between 3 and 5 thousandths. I try and get them. I think one of them, I can't remember, can never remember exactly what valve calls for what, but one of them calls for between 3 and 5, and one of them calls for 5 and 7. I try and aim for 5. As long as it hits 5 and isn't tighter than 3 and isn't looser than 7, I usually just let it go. A valve cover, it looks like somebody's been in this recently from the condition of the valve cover. So I'm wondering if they were in here trying to mess with something. Didn't have a strong enough battery and it didn't turn it over very well. And so that's what I'm thinking might have happened. Let me grab my impact. I'll put the 3/8 on here again. This should start a lot easier now and run a little bit better too. That should be plenty to hold that in place. It will smoke a little bit. I'm just going to get y'all back here. Actually, I'll get y'all over here and we'll drive it a little bit after I get it off of the jack. It should start a lot easier now. gas, of course. Let me grab some gas and we'll then go for a drive. This does run pretty good. For what it is. Still got that little bit of bumping in it, which I don't really like, but so if it's not the belt, even though the belt was ready to be changed, almost like the tires are flat spotted or something. At least the brakes work. They weren't working earlier, I don't think. Tell you what, it grabs now. Ain't no. I don't know why the transmission's doing that. It's kind of lurching a little bit. But the brakes work, which is good. Drive this one around a little bit. Ooh, she'll pop a wheelie now. It doesn't do it right there. I thought I was going to fix the brakes on this thing. Obviously, I'm not going to, thankfully. Let's see. Turn this on and run into the truck. Jeez. Transmission build or something, because this is around the time where they started getting really cheap with their transmissions, especially their 6-speeds. So I'm wondering, you don't really feel it in the grass as much. Just kind of weird. But we are running, driving, doing everything it needs to do. Like I said, this thing is not going to be the creme de la creme of lawnmowers by any means. But what I will do, I am going to drive it around a decent amount just to make sure that everything's going to be good on it before we send it on. So, I am going to have to make this into 2 parts because during the editing process I realized that we're almost an hour in here and I've just finished with the engine. And that's after I cut a lot of stuff out because I originally put that 14.5 on there, got it running good, but then the oil seal leaked. I didn't have an oil seal, so I put that 19.5 on there, and thankfully we've got it running and driving now. We do need to sort out the running issues a little bit. We also have the entire deck to work on as well, plus a few other things to get this thing tidied up. This thing ended up being a basket case for what it was versus what I thought it was going to be. When we started, I had to work on almost everything on this machine. But in part 2, we'll go ahead and finish everything up, and then the deck, getting the engine running right, and whatever else comes our way in part 2. And then at the end, I got a little special treat for y'all because I don't do it a lot, but I already had a trade deal lined up when I finished filming this video, or by the time I finished filming part 2 of this video, and you're going to see what I ended up trading for. So stay tuned for that as well. Again, part 2 will come in a few days. I really do appreciate y'all watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this LT3000 revival so far. You don't really see a lot of the 3000s there. I think they were maybe only a 1 year only deal in 2006 as they transitioned between the LT style machines and the I believe it was the YTs at that point, with the bigger frame and the bigger body on them. And but the LTs, y'all know them things will run forever. It's just a shame that this one was a little bit of a basket case, but we'll get it fixed in part 2. I appreciate y'all watching part 1, and I hope y'all stay tuned for part 2 coming up in a few days. Y'all take care, and I'll catch you on the next one.